What if I told you there's a way to get involved with the most popular RTS game of all time? It doesn't require a decade of experience and you don't have to bring any skill. I'm talking about a casual way to play StarCraft 2. Whether you're a returning veteran or a brand new player to the genre, there has never been a better time to get involved. Did I mention it's free now?
StarCraft is a timeless masterpiece way ahead of its time in lore, esports scene, and playability. But it has organically ostracized many gamers due to the infinite skill cap and high-stress matches. Truly, it takes a huge investment of time and energy to get good at StarCraft, which is a hard sell for a hobby. Fortunately, there are several more casual and very chill ways to enjoy StarCraft for everyone. Starting with number 5, we have custom campaigns, which can be accessed by the custom button up here on the ribbon, followed by clicking on campaigns. These maps, these games, take a different spin on the Blizzard crafted single player modes. They are specifically made by fans of the game, so actual players made these different campaign modes. And notably, some of the ones that are the most fun are really taking the existing campaign modes, but doing it in reverse fashion. So the one up here, Wings of Liberty Reversed Launcher, is basically allowing you to instead play as the Zerg or some of the other enemy Terran units in the same maps that you may have played in the original campaign mode. Similarly, over here, Wings of Liberty Zerg Edition. So again, you're basically playing the Zerg on all these various maps. And there's a few more like this as well. Another one I really want to call out is Marauders campaign. And so this one is really, I've had a lot of fun with. It has a lot of comedy. There's a lot of challenges here. And specifically, it doesn't really have much at all to do with the actual Blizzard campaigns. The player that made this, Razor Case, he has done a great job of making this completely new concept. There's new units, really a lot of fun. And I should put out that most of these campaign maps do have various difficulty levels. So if you want a really difficult challenge, you can crank up the difficulty. But if you just want to kind of play for the storyline purpose and see what's out there, there's definitely simpler versions as well. Moving right along and sitting at spot number 4 are the actual Blizzard campaigns. So if we go up here to the top left, click on the campaign button. These are the actual Blizzard produced campaigns. So the first one, episode 1, Wings of Liberty, that one is 100% free. You can make a new account, jump right in and play the entire campaign here. There's a set of challenges. Excellent S-tier storyline. As you might imagine, there's various difficulty levels. So if you just want to watch the story, you can put it on a super low mode. Likewise, some of the challenges are rather difficult at the higher difficulty levels. So that's for the Wings of Liberty. This was basically the first StarCraft game that came out, followed by a couple of expansions here. So Heart of the Swarm, this one is one you'll actually have to purchase for $15 for the basic entry level one. Also a great campaign. This does come on sale sometimes, so if you don't want to pay the full $15, definitely keep an eye out for that. Same deal with Legacy of the Void. This also is at $15 to play for this one. If you have the other two finished, I would definitely recommend doing this in order, by the way. There's a bit of a storyline that you can follow here. And then finally also the Nova campaign is a little bit cheaper because there is less content overall at about $10. And again, all of these do go on sale sometimes. Moving right along to spot number 3 are the StarCraft 2 arcade games. So we can actually come up here to custom, click on the arcade tab, and in this area we have something made for just about everyone. The game selections range from tower defense, tug of war, puzzle, role-playing games, action, arena, hero battles. Truly something for everyone here with all, again, various levels of difficulty. There's co-op modes, there's single-player games, there's obviously a bunch of PvP here as well. The most played games will default up here. Each one of these is definitely a good game. Direct Strike is very competitive at times, but again, you can jump right in, having never played before, and you'll still have fun with it as you learn. Some of these other ones I also enjoy as well. It's a bit of a hero battlers. You basically just take control of somewhat overpowered hero unit, and you just go through and defeat Zerg and other various types of enemies with your teammates. Overall, you could truly spend weeks and weeks browsing through all these various games. There's almost more content in these arcade games than was put into the actual campaign, because this was, as you can see, crowdsourced by so many big fans of the game. A lot of great stuff was made here. Holding in a strong number 2 position is the Commander co-op missions, which can be accessed up here on the co-op button. This was just released at the end of 2015, so a lot of the players who started with StarCraft and the early beta and the Wings of Liberty saga have really missed out on this, which the co-op mode is an absolute game changer for the franchise. There's a huge subreddit dedicated to this mode. Many players come here to play StarCraft exclusively for the co-op mission. So for those of you who haven't played it all the way through or have not been exposed to it at all, let me just give a brief introduction of how this works. So essentially, as you can see here, co-op does mean you are teamed up with another user, either your friend, you can both play together in a party, or it will randomly match you up with another player somewhere else in your zone. And specifically, the queue times are very low here. I normally find a match within a matter of seconds and not minutes. And the objective here is think of it as a bit of a mini game. There are multiple pretty overpowered heroes to choose from, and without going through them each one by one, the first 3, which are completely free all the way through, are Jim Raynor, Kerrigan, and Artanis. And as you might imagine, this is a Terran, Zerg, and Protoss race. Each one of them has various overpowered abilities. So for example, if you're playing as Kerrigan, not only are you able to manage the Zerg swarm, you can actually play as Kerrigan in these various levels. So like if you click here on the units tab, you can see which Zerg units are available in this area. And you can also see the upgrades. Most of these upgrades are specifically around either Kerrigan's units or Kerrigan herself. And she, again, is very overpowered in these game modes. So if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of APM, like high APM, actions per minute, or it's hard for you to multitask, this is definitely one I'd recommend. Kerrigan herself can pretty much solo a lot of the missions on the easier difficulties, which I'll get into in just a second. So it's fun with your ally just to simply use some of these hero classes and be able to defeat the enemy without having to micromanage or macro your economy. So the level cap on each one of these champions is 15. And like I mentioned before, the first 3 here, you can get to 15 without paying any money. For every other hero listed here, it is a level cap up to level 5 to get those abilities. And then after that, you do have to pay for it. And each one is $5. Some of these are absolutely worth it though. Depending on your playstyle, you may want to purchase more than one. $5 is a really small investment for how many hours you'll really get of content for this. So let me go through how this game mode actually works. So beginning down here at the difficulty level, absolutely, if this is your first time playing a co-op mission, and definitely if it's the first time you're playing an RTS in general, stick to casual difficulty. It makes it a lot easier to play, and your respective partner is probably going to be in the same position as well. A lot of the game modes here are on the kind of the hard and brutal difficulty. So that's where a lot of the players end up after you have your commander leveled up a little bit more, so you've unlocked more abilities, and you've also just kind of got a better hang for how these maps function, and you've increased your own understanding of the game as well. So when you make a selection for which character you want to use, you can come down here to the random mission button. That's default. There are various maps to choose from here. Each one has various objectives, and basically you and your partner are going to get paired together in one of these maps. Now, if you leave the default as random, You do, of course, get a 25% bonus XP. I think a lot of players keep this default because number one, it's additional experience, and then number two, it helps get queue times quicker. And it's just, I guess number three is pretty fun just to shuffle through the maps randomly. Each one is pretty fun to play. So once you either have a partner in your party or you just want to go with the solo, just click the ready button down here. That will initiate the queue and you'll jump into the map to play.
And finally, we made it to the number one best way to enjoy StarCraft 2, which is of course the esports scene. With many people even proclaiming StarCraft as the unofficial sport of South Korea, StarCraft has made its mark on esports history like no other game. While there may not be as much hype today surrounding the game as there was a decade ago, the scene is still very active. There are thousands of pro-level matches to watch, and a great place to dive into is the GSL, which is the Global StarCraft League. You can watch these games on this Africa TV esports YouTube channel. Another very active league worth mentioning is the ESL, or Electronic Sports League, which also has a YouTube presence dedicated to StarCraft videos. This is probably the quickest and simplest way to jump into the action because even as a spectator there are endless hours of high-level entertainment. If you do not already have StarCraft installed, I'm leaving you with this 3-step cheat sheet. Simply navigate to this Blizzard website to download the Battle.net application, which is similar to Steam. Next, make a free Battle.net account. And finally, open the Battle.net application and install the StarCraft game from this client. Once fully installed, you will be able to launch StarCraft from Battle.net to play.
If you enjoy any other ways to play StarCraft, please leave a comment below. And until next time, thanks for watching.